Alright, so this video is going to be covering Barrels Out of Bond, which is probably the level that's had the most recent updates to its route, even though it's also the level that's had the least amount of general time save in the actual skips that we found. There's a cutscene right at the beginning of the level, so I kind of just mash start through it because we're hitting a load screen immediately after. But you want to start off the level, just head over to the left here. There's a cutscene right about where that bush is. And then you just want to hop over here. This gate has given a lot of people trouble, and I can't really understand why. My setup for the gate has always been, you come over to this second segment and just kind of jump over the middle, just like that. Once we're over the gate, we kind of want to just head up here. We're going to be grabbing this crystal over to the left, just like that. And now we're going to be heading down into this area. Obviously, use your ring where you need to, so that you don't get caught. As soon as I enter here, I'm actually going to be branching off to the right, once I enter this area. Because we need to collect 3 of these, Elvish opening crystals. They're red. The first one is right there. The second one is just right here on your way up to the actual blocks. And the third one is just past the blocks, right over here. And when you grab the third one, you also want to head over here and grab this herb right here, because the herbs are a requirement for all quests. The easiest way is to jump onto this rope, jump off the rope, grab the herb, turn around, and long jump back. Now, the rope here can be a bit annoying, because if you long jump over to it while the rope is still swaying, you won't actually grab it. So you just want to make sure that you're wary of that. You also cannot grab this ledge over here from the rope, so you also want to make sure that you're not jumping from the rope over to the well, I guess you can, even though I've always failed to do it, actually trying to jump from the rope over to it. I don't know. But now we're just going to head over here to these blocks. We're going to put all 3 crystals in and solve the block puzzle. Now, there is one funny thing to note here, and that is collecting all of the Elvish opening crystals are each their own quests, and solving the block puzzle is its own quest, but putting the actual crystals in does not take any quests, so in theory you could still do the block skip, you just lose a lot of time because you also have to collect all of the crystals. In like an all-quest showcase or something, I would definitely go for something like that, but for an actual run, never. Now what we're going to do, now that we've solved the block puzzle, is we're going to be continuing on. I don't like that facing angle. There we go. This next area is going to be just a little bit convoluted. We're going to be heading into this next room. This first part is easy. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. But we're going to be heading through this room. And we're going to be heading into this next room, where we're going to be talking to our dwarf friends for the very first time. So we're just going to head down into here. Obviously, the 2 ways to get up here are either you can climb the ladder or climb the barrels. It's debatable which one is faster, but I always use the barrel method. What we're going to do now is we're going to go over here and we're going to talk to the dwarves, just like we're supposed to. And now we're going to head down to the water room, just like we're supposed to, but, on our way to the water room, we're actually going to set our clipboard position in this room, at the very edge of the room, just about right there. As you can see, I kind of just ran all the way out of the room until I got to the tunnel, and then did a jump right before. That way my clipboard is most assuredly set in that room. That's going to be fairly important here, because what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be heading down here. And my clip warp is still set up there. Obviously, there are 2 ways that you can warp back to that room. You can either use a clip warp on the gate over here, which is the method that I usually use. You can get stuck in the gate right here by just doing a jump attack. But I'm not going to show that whole thing off right now. The other method, which I believe is a little bit faster in all quests, is to do a save pedestal warp off of this pedestal, which again, pedestal warps are really finicky, and this one doesn't really save that much time over the gate clip warp, so I would highly recommend going for the gate clip warp if you are running this category. There we go. Like I said, they're really finicky. But yeah, once you warp up into this room, the only reason that we want to warp up into this room is to get one of the deep cellar keys early, which is over on this side. If you just long jump and do a jump attack, you can hit it. And what I do there is I actually hold my clip orb all the way over at this side of the room. You don't have to, but it's definitely faster to hold it at this side of the room. Otherwise, when you go all the way over there, you would have to wander all the way back to this side of the room. But if you hold it over here, then you can just grab the Deep Cellar Key, warp all the way back over here. And now all we're going to do is just do a couple long jumps to reload this room, head back up, and go talk to the dwarves. That Deep Cellar Key alone actually saved us all of the time that we're going to be spending in the basement. We're going to be going and talking to the dwarves now, which warps us back out to here. We're going to head up this tunnel, and we're going to be heading outside to do a bunch of things. We have to collect the rest of the herbs, and we're also going to be collecting 2 more Deep Cellar Keys out here. Obviously, the other 2, there's 1 more outside that we already collected, and then the one in the basement, obviously, we just grabbed. So we're going to go ahead and head this way. We're going to grab this red herb right here. We're going to grab this Deep Cellar Key right before we enter this cave. And now we're going to head up here. We have to burn this web with the oil, which is all the way at the bottom of our items. I generally put my ring on before I interact with this. That way these spiders don't kill me quite as quickly. But right about here, you generally want to switch out to the sword so you can grab this. These spiders can be really annoying, but they generally won't be too big of a threat, especially if you're fast. But yeah, you want to grab those specific items. You want to head back down this way. And now we're going to be re-entering the cave. We're going to be using the herbs in here to put the elf guard immediately to sleep. So I'm kind of just going to branch off and do that real quick before I do the rest of the level. Which you have to do that before you can go to the basement anyway. So we're just going to head down here. Make sure to put your ring on so the guard doesn't kill you. But yeah, just like that. And I am going to be saving because there's a little bit of a hard trick coming up here. And there's a couple more things that I kind of would like to explain in a little bit of detail. Basically, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be heading back up this tunnel to get back into this room. And we're going to be setting our clip warp directly in front of a little metal gate over here. This metal gate right here, we want to set our clip warp just about right here. The position is actually fairly precise for that, but you want to set your clip warp there. You want to hop back up these barrels now, and you want to continue on this way. Hopefully not get caught by any elves. We're going to hold our clip warp through this interaction and through this cutscene. You want to obviously skip the cutscene immediately. Now this part right here can be really annoying because if you just jump straight into the tunnel, you can actually lose a considerable amount of time because Bilbo will slide partway down the tunnel and then quite often slide back up the tunnel for some reason. The easiest way I've found to get into the tunnel without losing your clip warp and without sliding back up is to jump onto the lip and then walk off the lip straight into the entrance to the tunnel. We're going to slide all the way down the tunnel, and at the very bottom of the tunnel we're going to be doing a ladder warp to get up to where we had our clip warp set. The easiest way I found to do this specific ladder warp is to jump attack immediately before, and then just hold into the ladder and press B. Now, if you do it right, you should land here on this invisible floor. If you are a little bit off, you'll actually fall and hit a cutscene trigger. If you do hit the cutscene trigger, you just want to hold straight right so as not to fall into the cave. And then, obviously, once you're in the void, just stop holding right. But eventually, if you get it all correctly, you should land on this invisible floor right here. From this invisible floor, you want to look off into the distance a little bit behind this ladder. You can see there's this save pedestal over here, and fairly near the save pedestal you can see this thing sticking down from the invisible ceiling. The cave's supposed to have a ceiling, but obviously we are on top of it right now. And then this vine hanging down. You want to head straight toward that vine, because right here is the table that you have to put all of the items in for Thorin. Generally, you want to stand about in the middle of the table, which is about right here. Put in Deep Cellar Key 3, 1, 2, and then 4.
If that order doesn't exactly work, you can kind of just mess around with it to figure out what works. But that's pretty much the setup for that. I'll watch the cutscene just because it's a little bit wacky to see the dwarves running around in the middle of the air. But obviously, once you've done all that, the level is pretty much done at this point. All you really have to do is just hit the switch to end the level. Like I said, this is the level that's had the most recent optimizations, but it's also definitely the one that's had the least actual time save in it overall. Again, as you can see, I completed all the quests in that level. So that's really all there is to that stage. You don't need to buy anything. If you have enough keys to buy, or if you have enough coins to buy whatever you want, by all means, waste whatever time you want, but you don't need to buy anything here. But yeah, let's go ahead and just go on to Warm Welcome, which I will cover in the next video because this video is long enough as is.